So, hi everyone. I am back this week for a little bit of, self-talk reflection moment with Fatigiwa. Thank you for joining me. So I want to share something that personal that we have been going through for the past. I think it's been quite a while, but this transition, I would say, started 2 weeks ago, and this has to do with my son on the autism spectrum. So, we have been trying to eliminate a certain behavior for a very long time, and it has not been yielding any result. I think this new behavior started sometime last year. I think maybe September last year or thereabout, and it was getting out of hand because I was just trying to avoid it at all costs, and it was getting worse and worse and worse until I had during a session with our psychologist some weeks ago. I was asked to take a different measure, which led to a very, very difficult past few weeks for us. If anyone that knows, taking out any behavior or eliminating any behavior in unwanted behavior with a child on the autism spectrum can be really, really, really difficult. And it usually starts to go really bad. It goes way bad, like to the extreme or worse, before it can get better. So this is why I am going to tell you about this particular behavior and where we are currently right now. So if you have actually been following my page for a while, my Instagram page, Journey with FG, I am pretty sure I shared a video about, a certain behavior sometime last year where my son will come back from school and insist that I stay outside the door. He wouldn't let me go into the house, and he will insist that so this is what he does. As soon as I get home, drop them off, he starts to say, wave, bye bye mommy, bye bye mommy. When he's saying bye bye mommy to you, that means, or to anyone, that is his way of saying that you should go, you are not wanted, or you shouldn't go, or whatever. You get the message. So I understood he didn't want me to go, but I never understood why he was doing that. It really started, like 1 day, 2 day things, and suddenly it became consistent. Like every single day we come back from school, he will say bye bye mommy. And if I come into the house ignoring him and I come into the house, he will cry and have serious meltdowns. Sometimes 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. He will go on and on screaming like something like someone is really hurting him or something, and it's really difficult to explain. And if you remember some weeks ago also, I shared this video about, maybe, disappearing, or sometimes I just want to go away, stuff like that. So these are all part of those issues that I've been dealing with my son. So back to the story, it continued for the entire period. No, I'm sorry. It didn't start in September. It started way earlier last year. Because I remember we went for the summer holiday and we came back, school resumed, and he still continued. So September was a continuation, and I was ignoring him. I was trying to find a way around it, so I realized that if I don't go into the house with him, everything is calm. Like he will be, sometimes you wouldn't even know that there's a child in the house. You won't hear him cry. You won't hear him any tantrum. He will be so easy to work with and to do anything you want him to do, as long as I don't come in immediately with them right after dropping them off from school. So oftentimes I stay outside the door, I sit in the car, do some things on my phone, sometimes I just sit down. And after a while, I just try to always find something to keep me busy. But for how long do I want to keep avoiding, because I didn't want the tantrums and the meltdowns? How long will this go on? And so it got to a point that I will dress up in my active wear. If I didn't go for my morning walks, I would dress up in my active wear as soon as I drop them off from school. As soon as I pick them up from school and drop them, I don't even go close to the door. I just walk and go for my walk, or I drive off, I park my car somewhere and I go for my evening walk. And when I come back, it is always so nice because he will come to the door. He will come and say hello, mommy. He would have like a very calm conversation with me, not so much, but he will come to the door, and this is usually what he says. He will wave in my face and say, hello, mommy, and I will say, hello, Khalil, how are you, Khalil? He will respond, fine. And he will go around quietly doing his stuff, playing around. He won't even ask for a gadget or for the remote. He will just be so peaceful, and that will be how peaceful the night will be till he goes to sleep. Well, typically I enjoyed it, and I've been enjoying it anyway. And so, but then there are some days whereby I am extremely tired from picking them up. Maybe I already had a busy day, and I just went to I just want to pick them and come home and get some rest, but he won't allow me. And so on those special days, on those really, tiring days, how do I deal with this issue? And so I decided to talk to our psychologist about it. And this is where she insisted that I stop giving him that attention of staying outside or going for walks. I have been encouraging it, and I won't lie, yes, I have been encouraging it because I am trying to avoid all those things. I'm trying to make it easier for me, but it's not just about me. I have to find a way to make it easier for both of us. So she requested that that was, I think, 2 weeks ago. Henceforth, each day I bring him back from school, I have to drop, I must not go anywhere. Even if I have to go anywhere, I should come inside the house, sit down for at least 10 minutes before I go anywhere. So I forgot to mention a little bit of backstory. So you might be wondering, why does he do that? And she asked me also the same question, like, why does he do that? And so this is my own explanation, because I know my son very well. Parents, we always know our children more. And I told her that occasionally, when I pick them up from school, I sometimes, drop them off and probably go run some other errands. Occasionally, not all the time, but often. It happens more often than once a week, maybe twice or 3 times in a week. So this is usually the scenario. If I go to pick them up from school, maybe while I'm driving back, I realize that, oh, my fuel tank is running low. Let me go get gas. Let me drop them off. I have an assistant, so she can take care of them. Start to get them cleaned up before I come back. And I always also like to run my last minute errand, because my assistant doesn't stay. She's not a live-in help. So she leaves. So I like to round up all my whatever I have to do outside of the house before she leaves. So this is what or mostly happens. And also, knowing my son has a certain obsession with sameness, or which is very, very common with children on the autism spectrum, the need for the repetition, or a certain routine, or he wants same thing to happen on certain days. This doesn't always happen, but there are certain scenarios that he wants sameness in those kind of things. So on few occasions, I drop them off and I drive off, I go do some errands, and I come. In his mind, he wants this sameness to continue. He doesn't want it to be occasionally. This is my own, I don't know, this is my own observation and my own conclusion. And this is the same thing that I told our psychologist the day we had the conversation. And she actually agreed with me, because he wants me to go since I am sometimes dropping them off and going, he wants it to continue that way. So even if I don't have anything oh gosh, my life is complicated. Well, I don't know if this is confusing or if, but I'm pretty sure you all get the gist from here. So anyway, and this is how we started to, try to eliminate this behavior. And the first week was really, really, really bad, because each day I drop them off. So I will drop them off. And when he says, bye-bye, mommy, I will tell him, bye-bye, Khalil, but I don't go. I will come into the house. He will scream. I had never seen some of those behaviors before. The first week, he was kicking on the metal iron door, on the the iron gates before we got into the house. which he has never done before. He was then hitting on the glass door to the entrance to the living room. He was screaming. He was doing everything possible, trying to show me that he doesn't, that is his way of expressing himself, that he doesn't want me to go into the house, that I should leave. I tried to control him as much as possible, but when he wasn't listening, I just left him there. Sometimes I pull him into the house. I put him in a quiet place. It all depends on my mood, but that was what I did that day. I put him in a quiet room, got him to calm down for a while, which took him like an average of, I think, 20-30 minutes to calm down before he came out. And it continued for the next week. The banging, the kicking, the screaming, the yelling. It was really intense that week. It was so intense that I didn't even know, but I had no choice to continue. The following week, I noticed that it was slightly dropping, but the kicking and the screaming and everything, the meltdown continued, but it was gradually dropping. In fact, I did not expect that it would drop that fast. So all it took us was like 1 week of intense behavior to get to this really drop to this point. But the thing is that as at yesterday was the 3rd week since we started. So last week, like I was saying, slowly dropping down to almost down to nothing. But you will still show a little bit of anger, but not as much as intense as the first week. Yesterday, when we came in, he said, "Bye-bye, mommy," as usual. "Bye-bye, mommy." I said, "Bye-bye, Khalid." And I came into the house. He just stood at the door. I closed the main gate. He stood there. He was crying, but he didn't kick. He came inside the house, the glass door to the sitting room. He did not hit it, but he stood out there and was crying and was just crying and whining, but he didn't hit or he didn't kick. So which was really, really, compared to what we have been going through. And eventually, he just came upstairs and, took off his clothes, and I cleaned him up and everything. It was a really smooth transition yesterday. At the end of the day, after a while, he was just calm and doing his stuff. And so the reason why I'm actually sharing this is, some certain behaviors, we might all have experienced certain challenging behaviors, unwanted behaviors, let me put it at that. And, you might be thinking how difficult it is to get that behavior or to get your child off that behavior. But if you really put in the work and you're firm and consistent in whatever you are doing, you will be able to get to the root of the matter, just like I have been doing. We are not totally out of the lion's den yet. We are still, gradually. This is the 3rd week. I'm still observing. I have to, for data, collection, I try to take videos every single day, so I'm able to monitor. I will be able to look back at the videos, how it started, how intense it started, and how it's going. So, but at this point, I really like where we are, and I will continue to come into the house with him every day just to make him realize that I can't always leave him out, to come into the house. There are days where it will happen that I will have to go out. There are days where I will have to come in with him, but he has to accept the changes, and he has to understand to accept, changes and challenges or new transitions, however it may be. So I hope I hope someone benefited from this experience that I shared. If you would like some help with, eliminating certain behaviors with your child, it could be a different scenario. It could not be the same thing at my child. It might not even be the same thing, but this is just like my own experience. Like I always say, this is just my own experience, but you might also have similar. It could be a different behavior that you're trying to get rid of. However it is, I can actually help you, to be able to follow up with you, to be accountable and be consistent and give you that backup, that support that you need to stay firm and to be able to get rid of certain unwanted behaviors with your child. You can sign up with for my onboarding with Fati session and send me a message on my talk with FT at gmail.com. or you can check out my website www.fatigiwa.com, and you can reach me through the contact us page. I will be happy to help you and your child to be able to get rid of any unwanted behavior, just like I have been able to do with my son. I hope you find this video useful and educative. If you have any observation and comments, please leave a feedback and let me know what you think about my about my experience, or you can share a little bit of yours if you also have something to add. Thank you so much. Bye.